darling souls, welcome in everyone. Hello Alu, hello Lucy, hello Sylvie, hello Alna. I hope you're all doing well. Actually, I had some watermelon today. Well, that explains your flavor. Yeah? Honestly, I could go for some good watermelon right now. It's hot. Oh my god, it's been so hot here. I hate it. It has been awful. Admittedly, it's definitely not as bad as it has been in, like, some other parts of the country, right now, but it has not been great. I'm doing decent so far today. Decent's better than bad. We'll take decent. Yeah, I was up late working on some things and some stuff, and thus I slept in way later than I intended. So I'm a little bit late to start, but it's fine. I had nothing planned, so I was just gonna yap at y'all anyway. Day doing good. Gonna be chilling here before heading out to hang out with my to hang out with my friends to go to the arcade. Hell yeah! Oh, you have an arcade. I'm jealous. I wish we had, like, an arcade that wasn't, like, a Round 1 near me. Or, like, a Dave & Buster's. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Round 1 and Dave & Buster's. Well, that shit's expensive. Hello, Raylan. Welcome in. How you doing? Oh, energy drink flavor also very good today. Energy drink and watermelon. That is what I need. Totally didn't stay up till 7 a.m. watching the rest of Season 5 of Steven Universe. Maybe not the time, but a good choice of something to watch anyway. I love Steven Universe. I'm gonna need an energy drink tonight. Toy Story 5. Have fun with that. It's fun. They import some Japanese arcades so we get to mess around with the rhythm games. Ah! Like Round 1 then. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, up here, if you want access to, like, Japanese rhythm games, you go to Round 1 for that. They're the ones who import all of that. They also have UFO catchers, so you can get, like, prize figures and stuff. Toy Story with a fucking iPad in it. Yup. Yup. Also, hello, Fox. Welcome in. How you doing? They have a there's a Gundam rhythm game, or did they import, like, one of the Gundam fighting or piloting games? There's already a lot of bad patrons yesterday. Oof. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Sex is the original rhythm game? Yeah, technically true, actually. Taking Sylvie through Steven Universe has been a great experience, and actually watching the show consistently now, like 5 episodes every 3 months. Yeah, Cartoon Network deciding to do the Steven bombs was such a dumb fucking thing. Like, yeah, did it work at the time to generate hype for, you know, the clusters of episodes? Sure. Did it honestly do more harm than good in the long run, though? Also, yes, and I kind of feel like that was probably their intention. Gundam pilot / fighting game where you can play up to 4 players. Ah, I think I know the one that you mean then. Last year when I went to MagFest, they had a whole bunch of Gundam arcade games, including the fighting one, and one where you actually, like, basically get into, like, a little cockpit to pilot the mech around. I don't know if that one has hello Meloxus. I don't know if that one has any like PvP on it, or if it's just like you fighting enemies in, you know, the game. But that one looked really cool. I could not play it because there was a line and I was not waiting in the line. Yeah, no, they look so cool. Especially given, like, they also look phenomenal. Like, just watching the game is just like, oh, completely entranced. It did have the options for both local and multiplayer. Managed to sneak around early one day. Oh, well, there you go. Can't do English today. Words are hard and English is bullshit. Yeah, Meloxos was, also at MagFest with me, so, yeah, no, fair enough. I yearn to play a fighting game in an arcade one day. I mean, I keep telling you, come to MagFest with me. If you come to MagFest, you'll be able to play fighting games with people. They host tournaments. You could join a tournament and see how well you stack up. They had a Grand Blue Fantasy one, last year, and I was tempted to join it just to see what happened. But then that would also require me to bring my controller, and I didn't want to do that. They really do. They really do have all the fucking arcade cabinets. So, MagFest, they get, I believe, like, the organizers themselves have, like, a lot of arcade cabinets that they bring in, but also, people who do, like, arcade preservation, also bring in cabinets. People who independently own their own machines for, like, rhythm games and other stuff that they import, all bring their machines, and they're all set to free play in this massive hall. So you can just go through and find, you know, everything from, like, super old classic arcade machines to really, really modern ones. You can just play whatever you want. Naturally, there's, ow. Why? I appreciate that, but also my bones. I am now stuck in my own couch. How could you do this to me, Sylvie? Hello, Unsand. Welcome in. How you doing? But yeah, so, ow. Why? But yeah, I highly recommend, going and checking out, MagFest if you have the capability to do so. I mean, it's a good thing I don't actually have bones, or that would hurt, but also, They also have a living museum of esoteric and really old consoles and computer gaming systems dating back to the 80s. Also true. I actually have to avoid certain parts of the gaming halls, both the, like the older consoles and the arcade machines, because I can hear the whine that CRT TVs put out, and when you have a gigantic room filled with CRTs, there are certain parts of the hall that I just can't go into, or I get a fucking migraine. But, I do highly recommend, like, going by and checking it out, especially if that stuff doesn't give you a migraine. You will have a massive amount of things from, like, all of gaming history to play around with. Hello, Harriet Megami. Welcome in. How you doing? I feel that I somehow work in a kitchen. Oof. Oof, bestie. Doing quite well. Maiwo bought me pizza and some drinks. Hell yeah. Very nice. Okay, no, the TTS did go off. I just didn't hear it for some reason. I'm gonna have to fix that. That's fun. That'd be good. Just got some new kitchen gear. Hell yeah. Awesome, awesome. I love good kitchen gear. That shit's so expensive, though. But yeah, I literally just... I love MagFest. I completely adore it as a convention. And I cannot recommend, like, people go to it more highly. the TTS came through on stream. Yeah, so the way that the TTS works is that it's coming from one of the two bots that I use, and it's not going directly into my headphones through the bot. I have it set to monitor inside of OBS. So the voice, so like the audio channel that it does go through, OBS should then replay that back into my headphones so I can actually hear it without it doubling up on the stream audio. And so that way I can control the volume independently versus, you know, everything else going on stream. Because BikuBot tends to be on the quiet side. However, sometimes OBS is really dumb and will just refuse to pipe in my monitored audio from time to time. And I have no control over that. It's whenever OBS decides to be a problem, which seems to be about once every 2 months. And thank you very much for taking care of the chat, Pet and Sand. I do so very much appreciate it. You wonder, it's a Usu mortar, a traditional large wooden Japanese mortar, a traditional large wooden Japanese mortar for making mochi. Very nice. Ah, I've been accosted by a fly. Go away. It's clever. A shame the program assistant is dumber than a bag of rocks. Yeah. Listen, honestly, I get less issues with OBS than a lot of my friends. So I do count my blessings on that front. But yes, it is a problem. No longer the funny number, Sag. That just means you get to work towards the next funny number. There's always more funny numbers to work towards. But also, thank you for the 70 stream streak. Yeah. Although, speaking of OBS and other shenaniganery, such as boobs, yeah, 80085. And there's also 420, and there's also 6969. There's so many good numbers out there. Me using OBS is like riding a bike. I never forget. Luckily, OBS itself is actually pretty easy to use in its base form. You can definitely make it much more of a problem if you like using a lot of plugins like I do, though. That's part of the reason why I can't switch to Linux. A lot of my plugins just flat out break. Imagine using. I mean, I'm trying to bully you into streaming, Yogi. You're the one who refuses to get a monitor so you can actually use your computer as intended. Anyway, hello, Yogi. But yeah, so, I am super excited. Enjoy your Lurka, Alnick. Have fun with friends and arcade and Indian food. So for those of you who are in the community Discord, I posted that I got my trackers yesterday. I didn't post a picture of the trackers themselves. I should rectify that later. But yeah, I got my new trackers. So now I can finally talk about them now that I know that there's not going to be any further shenaniganry with them. Because I don't want to talk about them too publicly until like I actually had them in hand. Because for those of you who know, like the things I get super excited about, why? Well, hydrate, thank you. I'm hydrating with coffee today. So the things that I tend to get super excited about when they're ordered, tend to have issues actually like coming in and being delivered. They kind of turn So, I don't want to talk about them too publicly just to kind of prevent that from happening. And it seems to have worked. Because other than some minor confusion yesterday morning, and a lot of anxiety, they did come in. They came in just fine. The box that they came in was a little bit worse for wear, but, you know, I feel like that's just kind of to be expected with international shipping. So yeah, no, I got the ReboCap trackers, the 15-point full body trackers. So they have more points of control than the trackers I was using previously. Because previously I had like my VR headset, the 2 controllers for it, a hip tracker, and the 2 feet trackers, right? Which is great. You can actually do a whole hell of a lot with them. But the interpolation, like, the programs assuming where your elbows and, like, your knees were, depending on, like, you know, your hand and, like, foot angle and positioning, is, not great for certain kinds of things, right? Like, if you want to do, like, silly TikTok trends with, you know, your very nice 3D model, like I do, that can be a problem. So, having more points of control, thus having much more accurate depiction of what you're actually physically doing, is really good. Hello, Callan. Welcome in. How you doing? Glad my Steam controller arrived in its box. Glares at UPS for my Stream Deck. Ooh, awful. Shipping logistics are a motherfucker, I swear they really are. I'm lurking, sprite hunting, and fork knife. I see. Fair enough. Enjoy your fork knife. But yeah, so. Either way, I do have a lot more to say on shipping logistics and all of that. But yeah, so the trackers, the way that they work is, like I said, they're 15 points. So you have a tracker that goes on either hand, on the lower portion of your arm, on the upper portion of your arm, on your head, your chest, your hips, on your thighs, on your calves, and on your feet. So that way, literally, like, every main point of your body that can be tracked gets tracked. And you can also use them in different combinations depending on other things that you're using. So, for example, I do have a VR headset and hands. And I actually like using my VR controllers because they're the index controllers. They give me finger tracking. So, I can, for example, take off the head and the hand trackers, and replace them with my headset and index controllers, and the program for the trackers picks that up just fine. So I can use it for VR chat, I can use it for, walking around, in my virtual space here, like this whole room that I've created. I can, use it for actually doing motion capture. Like, I can create my own animations using real-life movements. Lilith can flip us off even easier. Hell yeah, I can! I mean, technically, I can do that now. I just don't have my hand tracking turned on. Hold on. I can turn that on. I don't typically turn it on because it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah, my webcam's more or less positioned correctly. Let's see. Oh. It should be working. Is it not set to the correct capture? Motion capture, media pipe. Oh, no, yeah, it is in fact not set to the correct camera. For some reason, it likes to set itself to my, hey, there we go. Hello? Okay, it's seeing my hands. It's not translating it to the model, though. That's weird. Excuse me? That's weird. It really doesn't, want to actually work with the tracking, huh? Oh, you didn't put a space in between the TTS and the potassium. Hold on, no, we're gonna figure this out. I need to be able to flip y'all off now that you said something. This is going to happen.
Potassium, 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 potassium.
Ah, I figured out why it wasn't working. Whoop. Oh, it reset the chat for some reason. There we go. Now it's got my hands. Now I can flip you off. There we go. Did I do that entirely for that joke? Yes. Yes, I did. Clearly, TTS potassium just needs to be its own... No. I'm not making it that its own command. I would have to figure out how to make it explode, and I'm not doing that. There you go. You can kind of see when I'm picking up my drink. Yeah, this is part of the reason why I don't use the webcam tracker all that often. Because while it does work and I can actually use it for gestures, it can be a little bit glitchy at times. I am looking into other solutions for webcam-based hand tracking for when I'm at my desk. So, like, for example, this might help. Get close to where I am. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. Like, for example, one of the things that I'm looking into is XR Animator. You know, it also doesn't help that, like, my webcam is on a curved monitor, so no matter what, it's going to be slightly offset from where I am. But yeah, so I'm also looking into XR Animator, which does seem to work a little bit better and be a little bit more stable than, like, just the regular, like, media pipe capture, which is what this uses, mind you. It's also really funny because I'm hypermobile, and it doesn't seem to know what to do when I, like, flex my fingers beyond what's expected. So, like, when I turn it sideways and stuff, like, it definitely doesn't look right. Because my fingers can just flex so far back. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, my index controllers can allow me to do things like this as well, which is why, like, even if I do end up replacing my headset in the future, which is a goal of mine eventually, I still plan on keeping the controllers. Like, I'm gonna keep, like, maintaining them as well as I can to be able to maintain that. Because no other controller right now offers the same benefits as, like, the index knuckles with their capacitive finger tracking. But yeah, so I'm super excited about it. I can use my trackers in a bunch of different configurations depending on how much of a gamer suit I want to wear at any given time. And yes, I am going to call it the gamer suit. You cannot stop me. Seeing that finger movement made me do it too. The knuckles curse. Yeah. Like, being hypermobile in the hands definitely does some weird shit. And hand tracking definitely does not care for it. It expects a normal range of motion. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to see it. It's also really funny depending on, like, because its interpretations of like where various things are is weird. I'll have to figure out how to get these more centered eventually. It's so goofy. It's so goofy. I love them. But yeah, so I can use the trackers in Wordo. So I will actually be able to physically move around during streams if I want to. Yeah. So for example, like when I say that it doesn't know where anything is, I am itching the corner of my eye, yet my hand is down near my boobs. Webcam tracking, everyone. It's a time. It is a thing that exists, for sure. And it also likes to interpret, like, hands, where there are none. The demon and their many mobile fingers. Indeed. Actually, no, you want many mobile fingers. I had a conversation with my roommate this morning, because he was very nice, and he brought me, breakfast with some coffee, which I very much appreciate. I was trying to take everything over to my computer desk so I could eat and then get ready for stream. I ended up having to put some things down and lament the fact that, you know, I needed more hands. Which of course led to the whole, you know, yeah, we are in fact not octopi. I was just like, I wish I could be. Do you know how much I'd be able to get done if I had 8 hands? Or if I had, you know, 8 appendages? And they were like, yeah, but then you wouldn't have fingers. Like, what do you mean I wouldn't have fingers? I could have, just because, you know, just having like 8 tentacle arms does not necessarily mean I could not have fingers on each of these tentacle arms. So you're all welcome for that cursed imagery now. I hate it. You're welcome. You're welcome for that. Your free cursed image of the day. This is what happens when you come to a Lilith Nox stream. You don't know what you're going to get. You might get silly gameplay. You might get in-depth discussions on interesting topics. You might just be inundated with the cursed thought of tentacle limbs with fingers. I can't control what you're going to get at any given day, honestly. Like even if I say like, oh, we're gonna do a game, let's be real. I have no control over whether a game is actually going to be played or not. That's entirely up to the brain gremlins and the tech gremlins, and they are temperamental forces. Ragnafrog. Anyway though, I did mention that, I had a bit of minor scare and anxiety with the tracking company. So I mentioned before that the email headers I got for the tracking through the original, like, shipping company, were a little bit concerning and confusing at times. And I had another one of them yesterday morning, where the package was marked as in transit again, which, yeah, makes sense. And then I go to the actual tracking web page, and it says delivered. Specifically it says delivered waiting for pickup, which is just like, what do you mean delivered waiting for pickup? Huh? So I have to go through a bunch of different things to be able to figure out what the fuck that meant, because it gave me no further details. And I had to be like, all right, did we like give the package off to like a third-party delivery thing? Am I having to go somewhere to pick this up? What the fuck is happening here? and I have to go find a completely different version of the same company's tracking portal, like a different version from what I was already using, mind you. I had to go find that, and then that actually gave me information going, hey, it's been handed off to our last mile shipper. Which, if you're not familiar with what a last mile shipper is, it's when a different company picks it up to actually get the thing to the place. Like, one company will handle like the international shipping or like cross-country shipping, and then it'll be handed off to somebody else to do local, right? If you've ever had like something shipped through Amazon and then like handed off to USPS to do like the actual final delivery, that's last mile. So this one uses a independent last mile deliverer. Why are you hallucinating a hand? Fuck you. And it does it did an independent one from a company known as SpeedX, which I've never fucking heard of before. So I'm like, okay, that's concerning. I've never heard of this company. I have issues with package thieves. I don't know if my delivery instructions were actually passed along correctly to this company. And when I went to go check whatever delivery instructions and everything it had, the only thing that I had access to via SpeedX's web portal was either email or an AI chatbot. Does not inspire confidence. So I, as any millennial is wont to do, I went onto Reddit to go search the company to see what other people had to say about them. Because frankly, I don't trust just Googling company names at this point, because there's too much AI slop in results, and it can be hard to tell what's legitimate or not at this point, if you can even get a legitimate resource, given how many, like, AI slop hits you get. So I still kind of just default to Reddit for a lot of things. And, of course, you know, you had your usual, like, people posting horror stories with the thing, which one would think it would not be, you know, very, confidence-inducing. But, okay, I'm turning off the webcam tracker. It keeps hallucinating hands, and it's actually bothering me now. Let's see, where is it? Where to put it? Where's the blueprint for this? What? The fuck? It created the hand tracking, but with no blueprint. That's... How the fuck did that happen? Okay, well, you know what? We're just gonna close the webcam. Then it can't misinterpret hands. I have endless Ragnarok on the brain. Don't blame me. I'm not blaming you. This reminds me of the shipping for my AYN Thor. Oh no. Program Hypno Dog hand gif. I am not hallucinating. You are. I mean, listen. Just because I'm schizophrenic, it doesn't mean I'm currently hallucinating. At least I don't think I am. But yeah, so, anyway, one would think that seeing these horror stories would not inspire confidence in, you know, said company that I am theoretically trusting to handle my delivery. But in actuality, like, most of the posts that I was seeing were going, like, a couple of weeks at least between posts, which actually kind of does inspire confidence, because frankly, if you're going onto a place like Reddit, you're going to complain. You're not going to, you know, talk about what like, oh, you know, I had such a good experience, everything came through exactly the way it should have. No, you're going to complain. And so, while, you know, yeah, of course there's horror stories there, it didn't seem to be any worse than, like, any other shipping company, because there's horror stories with USPS, with Amazon, with literally anything else you can name. So seeing that be, you know, so few and far between is just like, okay, this'll probably be fine. However, I still had no idea what their, like, what delivery instructions there were, nor could I update them, because again, AI fucking chatbot. So I had to go, basically just camp my fucking door, the entire day. Because I've had issues with my neighbors being package thieves, and I know specifically which neighbor it is, because I watched them try to steal one of my packages one time. I got it back, but, like, it's a problem. So I had to camp the door, which is why there was no stream yesterday. And I basically just hung out in my living room with the tracking page open on my laptop, refreshing the page every 15 to 20 minutes. And then eventually around like 4:30-ish, I get the inkling that, you know, I have a feeling I'm seeing a cached version of the page. Like, it's not because it's loading too fast, right? After a certain point, it's just like, I really do feel like it's not actually, like, reloading the page properly when I reload it. So I open up the tracking link in an incognito tab, and sure enough, it shows that it delivered my package 20 fucking minutes earlier. So I quickly have to, you know, get up and go find my fucking package, with a minor panic attack when I saw it was not by my door, despite the delivery saying it was by my door. Turns out, no, they actually just left it by the little mailbox hutch in the building, which is nice, and which also means that my delivery instructions were passed along and not followed. Because they had the pin to enter my building, but they didn't actually leave it by my door or knock, which is real fucking rude. But hey, at least I was able to grab the box, and all was fine. Nothing got stolen. Like I said, the box itself was a little bit worse for wear, but everything inside was nicely packaged up. I was able to get into it, and I was able to test it out, and oh boy, there was some frustration with getting everything updated to the correct firmware version. Because of who I am, I just immediately decided, fuck using the stable version, the stable release of the tracking software. I'm going to use the beta version, because it is several versions along at this point. And you know what? If I have problems, then I'll downgrade back to the stable version. Shockingly, other than getting everything updated to the most recent firmware, I actually haven't had any problems. Everything connected beautifully. It worked just fine with my VR headset and everything. So yeah, that was great. The actual trackers themselves are super tiny compared to my Tundras. I can post like a picture showing the difference in the Discord later. But my Tundra trackers they're smaller than the Vive trackers, which work on, you know, the same technology. But they're still pretty, you know, large and clunky. And then these ReboCap trackers that I got are much, much smaller. Partly because they don't need base stations, they don't need lighthouses in order to function. They all function by basically all being connected together, and then tracking via inertia and magnetic axes instead of, you know, positioning themselves based on data from, you know, two separate infrared cameras. So while they are subject to drift, and, you know, a little bit of jitter here and there, you don't need to worry about them getting, occluded, which means, you know, you don't have to worry about them, the view of them getting blocked from, you know, one or more of the cameras. And I can whole ass just walk away from my computer into another room, and you can still see what I'm doing. Like, the trackers still continue to be connected. I did a test of it after seeing what people on Twitter got, you know, caught doing, which is also what actually got me interested in the ReboCaps in the first place. I went into my living room and started doing squats just to see if it would continue to pick up the movement, while Alu watched the tracking program for me. And he's just like, yeah, other than you literally kind of walking off screen a little bit, saw what you were doing completely. And it's just like, that's fucking wild, actually. So that's very exciting. For those of you who aren't aware of, like, what happened with when these trackers first blew up, a couple of other VTubers got them. And then, when they did a quick, like, a BRB for their streams, like, one of them went to the bathroom, and literally, on their stream, you could see them walk off, open their door, walk into their bathroom, sit down, and everything, and then they got called out by their own chat for not washing their hands. As they should. Wash your fucking hands. And then there was another one who had them, and you could see them, you know, leave their room, go downstairs into their kitchen, and make themselves a snack before coming back up. So naturally, that's what made me go, oh, these are really good, actually. I want that. And what's even better is they're fucking cheap for what they are, too. As a price comparison, right? My Tundra trackers are just over $100 per tracker, so per individual device. Now that comes with some benefits, right? Because it uses lighthouse tracking, as long as a camera can see it, it is, bar none, one of the best ways of tracking movement. It is incredibly stable and just is not really subject to drift unless there's something going on with the tracker itself, right? And then, you know, they can also be individually swapped around. You don't have to use the same tracker at the same spot every time, because they can just reorient themselves to whatever the nearest, like, tracking point on a model would be when you do calibration, which is nice. It's really fucking good. And versus things like ReboCap and slime trackers and things like that, they are designated to specific parts of the body. So the one that's marked for the left upper arm has to always go on the left upper arm, unless you go into your program specifically and retarget it. So that can be, you know, a little bit of a pain to set up sometimes. But I genuinely think that that's a small price to pay. Given that all 15 of these trackers, plus the charging box, plus all the straps, plus the quick release connectors, plus the fucking they gave me a free cloth measuring tape, by the way, which I did not know it was going to come with, which is great. But all of that was just over $200 for 15 points of tracking, which is actually insane. Like, just for the price that I paid for all 15 points of tracking with the ReboCap, which is the more expensive option. They have cheaper options. I bought the most expensive version. Like, I would only be able to get, like, another 2 Tundra trackers. I'd be able to go from 3 to 5 points of tracking. That is an insanely good deal. So needless to say, after experimenting with them last night and making sure everything worked, I am incredibly happy with them. I will not officially say that I recommend people interested in full body tracking getting them yet, simply because I need to actually, you know, stress test them, use them for a few months, make sure that, like, nothing weird happens in that time. But at least first impressions, I fucking love these things. They're so good. Like, after testing them in Warudo, I tested them in VR chat itself last night, and went and played some games with some friends in VR, just to, you know, see what the integration was like. And I had zero issue. I was able to hang around and sit in my chair and flop on my bed with zero issues, and I am so happy about that. Like, that is genuinely the most exciting thing for me. But yeah. Other than that, I don't know how many of y'all are still on the Hell site, but I do still, unfortunately, have to maintain an account on it in order to access, like, a lot of like tools and interesting things that come from the Japanese side of VTubing, because Japanese VTubers just kind of went, nah, we're not moving anywhere else. We're sticking here. It's just like, all right, fine, I guess. That and a lot of like sponsorship or playtest opportunities also require Twitter, unfortunately. So yeah, I maintain an account there. I don't post, but I do, like, keep an eye on things happening. And I became privy to a whole mess of a thing that has been going on for the past couple of days. So there's this other VTuber called Iggy Wiggy, who decided to create this this app that was supposed to be like a creator hub for VTubers and streamers as a whole, but it's definitely, like, mostly centered around VTubers. Of you know, being like, oh, hey, you can use this for stream planning and, you know, branding stuff, and being able to share this, you know, this instance of the hub, like your instance of the hub, with, like, your managers or your editors, so you can all, like, use this to help, you know, keep track of, like, collaborative things and editing projects and blah 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 blah. And we have all these tools for, like, you know, tone checking emails and stuff, because let's be real, all of us are fucking autistic. And we kind of struggle with it. And all that. And I'm just like, okay, that sounds neat. Like, this does sound like a good idea that would be helpful for people. And then I've kind of just been watching it for a couple of days. And, like, the day after it went live, people went, hey, there's some security issues with this site that seem a bit fucking weird. Like, this doesn't seem like something that you would normally have an issue with if this was coded by like, a person, right? And so people were whispering, like, oh, did she use AI to code this? And then she was real cagey about it for a while, and then she went, oh, you know, I used Claude Code for bug fixing and, you know, bug testing and stuff, and it's just like, I highly doubt you used it just for bug testing. If you were willing to use AI for bug testing, frankly, I don't trust that you actually know what you're doing. To be completely honest with you, that is not a sign of competency, right? And so, you know, she does that, but she also starts blocking people who are pointing out the security vulnerabilities in her site. instead of like actually addressing them or like letting people know like, oh hey, there's a thing happening, I'm gonna try to figure it out, instead of like doing something reasonable like that, she just starts blocking people, which, you know, historically that's always gone well. So yeah, people continue pointing out like exactly what the issues are. And then somebody goes and pulls her code on GitHub. Because she was just like, oh, you know, I'm making this open source, you know, blah, 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 blah. They pull her code on GitHub, and it is full of markers showing that it was, in fact, that Claude was not, in fact, involved for just bug testing. Basically, the entire thing was AI coded. Because I refuse to use the term vibe coded. It was AI coded. Which, by the way, for those who think that, you know, oh, AI is useful for coding, no, it's not. It really isn't. It just takes, like, bits of other people's code and mashes it together in chaotic ways, and often in non-human readable ways. You ever need to check the AI's work? Good fucking luck! You can't read the code! Anyway, that's a whole other rant. That's a whole other rant for a whole different day. But suffice to say, AI is not good for code. AI is not good for... Generative AI is not good for shit. But it's definitely not good for code. And people were like, hey, why the fuck are you lying about this? And she still hasn't addressed the fact, at least as of the last that I saw, she still hasn't addressed the fact that people, like, caught her red-handed using Claude to just entirely code the app. You know, and the fact that she lied about no generative AI went into its creation or, you know, is in the site at all. Despite the fact that she actively promotes the usage of Goblin tools, which is also an LLM tool for people who aren't aware of that, in the site. So, you know, clearly she's not, like, even just taking it at face value, you know, like, clearly not anti-AI, which is a fucking problem, you know, when you're a VTuber. And just, she brought on a different programmer, still completely ignoring all the programmers that she blocked, you know, for pointing out the vulnerabilities she had in her site. She went to an entirely different one who was claiming that they fixed all the vulnerabilities and issues in the site, and downplaying the issues that other people found. I just, oh my god, I am at a complete fucking loss with this. Because how the fuck are you going to be a VTuber and decide to vibe code an app? How, like, especially because she is clearly aware that the general attitude in the VTuber sphere is heavily against generative AI, because it's an inherently, like, VTubing is an inherently artistic and creative endeavor, right? You can't be pro-generative AI and, you know, be in the VTuber sphere, right? You're going to get fucking ostracized, as you should be. So she's clearly aware of that, and intentionally hid it because of that. But also refusing to fucking address it at this point. It's just making the situation even worse. Like, homegirl, what the fuck are you doing? And just watching all of this unfold over the past couple of days has been wild. Yeah, just no. Just no. And like, I get that coding is kind of a scary concept for a lot of people, because you kind of look at it and you see like the monolith of it, right? Like there's so much to learn out there. There's so many different languages. and without doing any research, you know, it can be overwhelming trying to figure out what you need to start, where to start, you know, what's actually approachable for a beginner. There's also a lot of beginner tutorials are not beginner friendly. Like, I definitely get that. Oh boy, do I get that as somebody who needs to get back into coding. Because I'm trying to move the chat pet, our little guy down there. I'm trying to make that a standalone widget rather than having it run through Mix It Up. That's not going well. Because I too am hitting the wall of, oh god, this shit is overwhelming. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. So I do get that, but also, like, switching to a shortcut tool that is based off of people's stolen work is not it. It looks lazy. It looks like you don't actually care about what you're doing. Like, it looks exploitative, because it is. Just learn how to, like, if you want to do a thing, take the time to actually learn how to do the thing, please. Is it going to take time? Yes. Yes, it is. Is it maybe going to be frustrating? Almost certainly. But you'll also come away having actually learned the thing and being able to do more than just the one thing that you set out to do. Like, skills that you pick up from learning new things like coding and art, you can use everywhere. Because coding is just logic. The more you improve your ability with logic things, honestly, the more you'll see being able to apply it in other places. You'll be able to use it in analysis. You'll be able to use it in just understanding the world around you better. Oh, and we have an ad. But yeah, just it's a mess. That's also, by the way, why the updates, for the chat pet have been so slow. Because I have the bones for all the stuff that I want to implement in there. It's just, I really want to make it a standalone widget, so I'm not doing everything through Mix It Up. And the more that I get going through Mix It Up, the harder it'll be and the longer it'll take to actually, you know, get it switched over to its own standalone widget, right? Especially because part of the reason why I want to do the standalone widget is I want people to be able to use a version of it themselves. I want to create this so that other people can create their own shells for it and, you know, be able to use it for their chats, because I think it's a cool little thing. And I like widgets that run locally on my computer rather than running on somebody else's server, especially given a lot of those ChatPet Twitch plugins have been responsible for people having, you know, their accounts taken over in the past. Like, I want to avoid that. But, you know, that requires a lot of specialized knowledge, and trying to figure that out has certainly been a time. And thank you very much for taking care of the chat pet, Lucy. I do so very much appreciate it. But yeah, it's... Because, like, I have my list written out for what new shells I want to introduce. I have my plans written out for exactly how I want to tweak the gacha system in it when I can create my own application for it. I know how the evolution system is going to work. Like, I have the whole flowchart for that set up. I have the idea for the stream, like, store that I was going to run through Mix It Up with its own channel points, so people on YouTube would be able to use it just as well as, you know, being on Twitch, because I don't want it to run through channel points. I want it to run through Mix It Up's own internal store, now that Mix It Up can also work on YouTube, which is also part of the reason why I'm now, like, dual streaming to YouTube. You know, also, dual streaming to YouTube makes it much easier to be able to, have my VODs active on YouTube after streams. Because for anybody who actually follows the YouTube channel, I'm really bad at forgetting about it. Like, I am so bad about remembering to export my VODs to YouTube. So dual streaming on YouTube just kinda cuts out the middleman on that. If only Yag would post that you stream on YouTube. Yeah, after stream I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go through Yag and figure out what the fuck is going on with that. I haven't had the brain capacity to do it the past couple of days. I do have a YouTube. I do. It currently really just has VODs and like 2 clips on it, I think. Yeah, no, I only uploaded 2 clips to it. I intend on doing more with it. Like, I'm gonna, the whole plan is to, like, actually start clipping my own streams more. Which, by the way, if you'll see funny shit, please clip it for me. If you clip funny things for me, it, makes my workload much easier, and I can post things to TikTok and YouTube shorts. Yeah, words, brain, thoughts. I have so many plans, and my brain is always running like 20 miles a minute, and my mouth can't catch up. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I want to post more stuff over there. Like, I want to post shorts. I want to post, like, just little random shits to the YouTube. Like I said, it's also a VOD archive, or at least it's meant to be. It's definitely missing large chunks of my archive. Because like I said, I've been bad about remembering to, upload VODs from Twitch to YouTube. But I've got the dual streaming set up now, so there is stuff going over to YouTube automatically, because as of right now, I am also live on YouTube. And of course you can find me under the same name. I am the same name everywhere. I make myself very easy to find. But yeah, that's its, you know, own whole thing. But yeah, I need to go through Yag and figure out why, like, it'll randomly say I'm preparing to stream when all I'm doing is, like, adjusting a setting inside of, YouTube Studio. But it doesn't actually be like, hey, you know, I'm live on YouTube, or hey, the VOD's been posted. Because the VODs should be posting automatically. And they're not. And they are being posted automatically, but they're not, like, being picked up by Yag. So I need to go figure out what the fuck is going on with that. Okay. And then, also later today in the community Discord, we will be wrapping up, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5. And then after we finish JoJo, our anime nights are going to be swapping over to, Evangelion. Because there are Evangelion raids coming to Final Fantasy, which means I now require everybody to have the context for them. And of course, you know, everyone else who hasn't watched Evangelion or has and just wants to rewatch it with everyone, you know, please join in. We do the anime nights once a month, usually on the 4th Saturday of every month. This time it's today, the 3rd Saturday, because I will actually be busy next Saturday. My good buddy Lasso Cassidy, will be, hosting the first episode of his game show that he's been working on for months. And I will be one of the first guests on it, along with a couple of other folks. I don't know if he's posted it officially yet or not, so I'm not gonna reveal. But you can keep an eye on my Blue Sky, because I'll be reposting the announcement for it later this weekend. But yeah, he'll be doing that. I will be a guest on it. I'm super excited. So I am really looking forward to that. It is going to be a good time. I helped beta test the show as well. And I had a great time on it then. So I know the very first official episode of it will be amazing. probably scuffed as well. So if you like scuff, definitely come check that out. I'll also be posting the link to that in the community Discord, as well as Blue Sky, when that starts. So, you know, keep an eye out on both. But yeah, that's why I had to move things, a week forward. Because when he talked about getting it set up this weekend, I promised that I would make sure that I was free. So, because we support the homies. Can't spell VTubing without scuff. So true. It's V scuff tubing, but the scuff is silent. Virtual scuff tubing. Yeah, because as much as we like to try to minimize scuff, well, some of us try to minimize scuff. Some make it their entire branding. You know, there is no way to completely avoid it. Silent or very, very loud at times. Yeah. Listen, I do my best to eliminate scuff where I can. I, like, always test my shit off stream, first and foremost. I very rarely ever decide to do something for the I feel the love, but you broke me again. I very rarely, if ever, do anything live for the first time. I always try to test my shit off stream. Now, that doesn't stop it from deciding to break on stream, even though I tested it off stream. That's been a problem, but you know, I do at least try to beta test things. You know, I test my game captures to make sure that they're going to show up correctly. Like, anytime I decide that I'm gonna do a new game on stream, I test, like, my camera movements when I swap between scenes in this. God, you don't want to know how long I actually spend, like, testing the camera movements and everything else in this. Oh my god, it takes so much time. Like, I should walk y'all through my scene setups for Wordo sometime after I clean them up a little bit more, because there is actually so much that goes into them. And the fact that I have, like, hotkeys set for everything as well. Like, I can control all my different, camera positions and, like, different places I can sit around the room, all through hotkeys on my Stream Deck. Which, one would think that, in theory, that would make things, a lot easier to control, and unfortunately, you would be wrong. Because there is still always the ever-present scuff that always exists, always at the edge of your vision. It is like a phantom behind us all. It's fine though. It's fine. It's at least entertaining for y'all. It is frustrating for me, but it's entertaining for you. And you know what? At the end of the day, as long as y'all are entertained, I've done my job correctly. Speaking of scuff, oh my god, you may notice that I've been using my comfy model instead of my regular model recently. That is because my regular model has decided to become scuffed, and I'm trying to fix it. But right now, this is the only one that works. And the reason why it became scuffed is, if you look at my tail right there, you may notice that there's a triangle on it that is weirdly not tail colored. And I'm trying to fix that. I don't know why that's the case, but for some reason, the last time I did work on the base for this model, when I exported it as a VRM from Blender, it decided that this particular triangle, it's technically two triangles in the mesh, but whatever, this triangle here, was just going to randomly be assigned the same shader as my body, instead of the tail shader, because my body and my tail use separate shaders, right? Well, materials. Shader is a different thing, technically, but they use different materials. And if I try to apply the tail material to specifically that triangle in Unity, it applies it to my entire body. Because it's counting, for some reason, as part of the fleshy bits of the body and not the tail. So I'm having to figure out why the fuck that's the case. And when I tried to fix it and re-export it from Blender, and then, you know, do all the things that I usually do to get it working in Warudo, it decided it didn't want to work. And I haven't yet figured out why. So, that's why I'm using this model currently. Because I did not overwrite this model yet, and I will not until I figure out what the fuck is causing my, my main model to be scuffed. So yeah. The suffering of being your own artist. Because I make my own assets, I made my own, you know, horns and tail and hair, and I'm the one who kit bashed my body and, you know, does all my own outfit work and everything. If anything breaks, I am the one responsible for fixing it. And oh boy, does it sometimes just not want to be fixed. Yeah, And again, someday when I have the brain cell for it, I'll walk y'all through how I do all of that, but that's... that takes time. That takes time and effort. And that takes brain cells. And I am unfortunately at a critical lack of those right now. If anybody's got spare brain cells that they can donate, I could really use them, please. Yeah, Demon's not doing so hot. My roommate keeps stealing all of mine for his lab work. But yeah, that's mostly what I had to yap about today. It's a bit of a short stream, but I didn't have all that much to yap about, and frankly, I don't really have anything else to do today. I need to go, like, shut the fuck up, Twitch. I need to go deal with Yag and figure out why it's fucked. So, you know, I think we'll go ahead and end things here for today. You know what? Speaking of Lasso, actually, no. Zooey's playing, Final Fantasy. We're gonna say hi to Zooey. Head thoughts, no empty? Unfortunately, yes, in this case. I have too many thoughts. Head no empty. But yeah, we're gonna say hi to Zooey, because Zooey's playing Final Fantasy. And we must support our Demon Queen. But yeah. I will be back to the normal streaming schedule next week, in theory. With, hopefully we'll be returning to Cult of the Lamb. We'll see. We shall see. And then, Deltarune comes out next week. So that is going to be our main thing, is Deltarune Chapter 5. I am so very much looking forward to it. But until then, please, make sure that you eat something, drink something, take your meds if you need them, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye!